Welcome to Frank Teaches DevOps. All right, my lovely viewers, I welcome you once more to my channel, and I must appreciate you all for your support and the encouragement. So, in today's video, I want to talk about I want to talk about a buzzword now in the industry, which is machine learning operations (MLOps). Okay, but however, I cannot talk about MLOps without talking about, first of all, mentioning machine learning. Okay, so um, I've been thinking of starting up a video series where I talk about hands on talk about machine learning operations, which is MLOps. All right, which is MLOps. Okay, but I'm just going to throw a shady light. I'll throw a shady light on what ML operations is. Okay, before I go into the proper definition of um, MLOps, let me just tell us in a layman understanding what ML ops is. So ML ops is machine operations. Okay, machine learning with emphasis on DevOps. Let me put it rightly. So ML ops is machine learning, machine learning with emphasis, emphasis on what DevOps. What I mean by that is when I say emphasis with on DevOps, emphasis on DevOps, okay, is you're using, all right, in there you're using all set of practices that aims to deploy and maintain machine learning models, right? Machine learning models. So let's now break it down. Why I say it's a machine learning with emphasis on DevOps. MLOps is a combination of machine learning, development, and operations. Now let me put it graphically so we get a picture. Let me put it graphically so we get a proper picture. Let me change this, and finally, let me give it that. Okay, so now here is machine learning plus development plus operations. All right, plus operations. So it is, I would say, I would say in another way that MLOps is machine learning with DevOps. Okay, I've already said that. Machine learning with emphasis on DevOps. You can say machine learning with DevOps. So now, if we have something like this, from year to year is actually DevOps. So this is DevOps in the real sense. This is DevOps in real sense. So from year to year is DevOps. Then from year to year is MLOps. MLOps. So let me copy this guy, copy and paste. So from machine learning down to ops. So from machine learning down to ops is MLOps. Okay. So in contrast, So in contrast, we would say we would say that machine learning, as we earlier said, machine learning is a set of practices. Sorry, machine learning operations is a set of practices that aims to deploy and maintain machine learning models reliably and efficiently. Reliably and efficiently. Okay, so this is in one word what MLOps is all about. And my focus in machine learning is purely on DevOps. I can use, how I could use machine learning concepts, machine learning models, all right, with DevOps practices to deploy, okay, with DevOps practices and machine learning concepts to deploy machine learning practices or machine learning AI applications into my Kubernetes cluster, all right, into my Kubernetes cluster or into a cloud environment. So, what my series will be based upon will be a tool called Kubeflow, all right. So, when you have a time, Kubeflow. So, Kubeflow um, is a machine learning tool for implementing MLOps. Kubeflow is a machine learning tool for implementing MLOps. So Kubeflow, what it does, it deploys machine learning applications, AI applications into Kubernetes cluster, right? So subsequently, all right, all of my video series coming in MLOps will have to be based on Kubeflow. How to use Kubeflow to deploy machine learning applications into your Kubernetes cluster. I think I've been able to um, give a proper description or a proper intro of what this video series is going to have. So MLOps is machine learning operations. Okay. However, you always see that dev is hidden. But when you expand MLOps, you come to realize that dev is in between machine learning and operations, right? Machine learning and operations. Okay? So machine MLOps is purely machine learning with emphasis on DevOps. Without further ado, let's look at what machine learning is. All right. So now, what is machine learning? So because you can't talk about MLOps without talking about machine learning. So machine learning will only give us the basics, the fundamentals, the little understanding, the basic understanding of dealing with machine learning ops, which is MLOps. All right. So you need to understand the rudiments, the machine learning models, which is very, very paramount. All right, which is very, very fundamental, which is very, very necessary, needed in practicing as an MLOps engineer. Okay, so now what is machine learning? What is machine learning? Machine learning is actually a field, all right, a branch of artificial intelligence. Let's take that step by step. Is a branch of AI, artificial intelligence, artificial intelligence, okay, that uses statistical methods, if you say methods, or models, or techniques, right? Or techniques, okay, to develop predictions. Let me blow this out. Right. So machine learning is a branch of AI, which is artificial intelligence, that uses statistical methods or models or techniques to develop predictions. So now a question now will come: what are these statistical methods? Right? So statistical methods are things like we have things like regression, we have classification, we have things like um decision trees, right? We also have things like probability theories, and so on and so forth. We also have clustering, right? So these are some of okay. So these are the statistical techniques or models or methodology. Okay. So now that now brings me to what we call machine learning models. Machine learning, they could be called machine learning models, can say methods, or could say types, machine learning types. All right. So there are lots of machine learning types, but I will be talking fairly on just few of these machine learning types. One we have supervised method. We have, let me change this color. Supervised method. We have unsupervised. All right. We also have um, we also have reinforcement, and we have deep learning, deep learning, and finally we have a method called deep learning, right? Deep deep reinforcement learning. So these are supervised. Oh, sorry. So supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Let me keep it proper like this. Yeah, makes sense. And reinforcement learning, deep learning, and deep. All right, let me keep it so okay. All right, deep reinforcement learning. So I'm going to go through all of these machine learning models, or say machine learning types. So these are the major five machine learning types, which as an MLS and MLOps engineer, you must understand them. You know, so these are different models one could use as an AI or a machine learning analyst or a machine learning designer, okay, or a machine learning engineer must understand. All right, must understand. So let's start off with supervised learning. So supervised learning is a kind of machine learning type where um, the machine are being trained. Okay, you train the machine how to perform some activities, all right? How to perform some artificial intelligence activities. You train the machine in supervised learning. Okay, so let's just give us an instance here. So let me take this up. Okay, so in supervised learning, train we train the machine. We train the machine, sorry, machine to learn. All right, we teach the machine how to perform some tasks. Now, for example, I would say, okay, I'm going to give an X number of inputs and I will determine the output. Now, for instance, I say, okay, I give this machine an X. I give it an X, right? So it is expected I need a Y output, all right? So I need a Y output. So similarly, I can also input X1 and I will tell the machine that I will need Y1. X2, I will need Y2. X3, I will need Y3, and so on and so forth. So by this method, by this style, I'll keep training the machine until the machine will now learn. It will learn the pattern, and the machine will now start performing the tasks the way it should. So in supervised learning, you train the machine, right? You actually train the machine, right? Okay. Now in unsupervised learning, okay, before we go there, now supervised learning, we have types of supervised learning. We have regression and we also have classification. So under supervised learning, we have something called regression, and also we have what we call classification. So regression is what I just explained here, all right? Regression, I give you X, I expect a Y. Okay, I give you Y, I give you X1, I expect a Y1. Just like that, that's regression. Okay, now in classification, classification is a kind of grouping. All right, so kind of grouping. So I'm going to group, for instance, I'm going to group, let's say, some set of objects. All right, so some set of objects, and I'm going to group them in colors. I'm going to classify them color wisely. All right. So I'll say this group will have blue color. This other group will have green color. This other group will have a red color, and so on and so forth. So by so doing, I've been able to classify my objects. All right. So these are the two major, I would say, statistical methods we use in supervised learning: regression and classification. All right. So now let's move on to the next machine learning type, which is unsupervised. So in unsupervised, the machine learns on its own. All right. The machine learns on its own. So you just, what you do, you just give the machine some set of a data set. All right, a data set. So the machine will automatically, go through the data set and start learning some patterns. All right, as either is going to group them, uh, or depending on the algorithm. All right, depending on the algorithm you've used in an unsupervised learning. So in unsupervised learning, the machine learns on its own. Okay, then we move on to what? Reinforcement learning. So in the case of a reinforcement learning, the machine have learned. Okay, now you put the machine, you put the machine in a kind of a rewarding system. All right, you put in place for the machine a rewarding system that whenever the machine performs a certain task, whenever the machine performs a certain task rightly, the machine performs a certain task rightly, there should be a reward given to the machine. So this kind of machine learning is known as reinforcement learning, right? And this kind of machine learning model is mostly seen in gaming design when you design games. All right. So when the computer wins, there's a reward given to the computer, given to the given to the given to the machine. When the machine wins, there's a reward. There's a certain reward in place given to the machine. When the machine loses, there's a penalty. Also, there's a penalty for losing. So the machine will learn with time that I don't need to lose, because if I lose, I'll get penalized. I'll get penalized. And if I win, I I'll get rewarded. And so I need to continue to win. So by so doing continuously, the machine gets to learn the way of winning so that it will receive more reward. So that kind of machine learning type is known as reinforcement learning. So now go into well known as the deep learning. So deep learning is much more complex. Okay, much more complex. It uses high level of computational analysis. All right, in deep learning. So in deep learning, you are now trying to simulate the human brain. You're simulating the human brain. Okay, the computer is trying to simulate the human brain. So that is deep learning. So in deep learning, areas of applications, you see areas of applications in areas like face detection, character recognition, um, areas like um, your speech recognition. Okay, we've also seen how different cloud providers, all right, like Azure, different um, IT providers like Microsoft, okay, how they integrate speech recognition into their services. All right, Microsoft uses Cortana, Amazon uses Alexa, and Apple uses Siri, and Google uses what's that they are bought again? I've forgotten that. All right. So you also see application in text to speech and speech to text translation, right? Language translation and all of that. So these are where we get the application of deep learning, right? Now, to make it much more complex and much more advanced, we have the last part, all right, in this series, which is deep reinforcement learning. So in deep reinforcement learning is having a combination, right? Is having a characteristics of both deep learning and reinforcement learning, right? So this is very, very complex in computation. All right, it's very deep and reinforcement learning. I think these are the machine learning types that a machine learning operator, which is MLOps, need to understand. You need to understand these machine learning types before delving into MLOps, machine learning with DevOps. All right. So this was or is just an introduction of machine learning, but not in detail. It's just high level. All right. High level introduction of machine learning. Machine learning is very vast, very, very vast. But because of my focus is not is purely on how to deploy the machine learning applications into a cluster. So I'm keeping it that simple. That's why I'm keeping it simple. All right. I'm keeping it simple. And the tool you shall hear from us, discussing about is called Cube Watch. Sorry, not Cube Watch, sorry. Kubeflow. So Kubeflow is the tool we shall talk about more in our next video series. All right. So this is just a part one to this video series, and I would love to see you guys in our next video series. So in our next video series, we shall look into Kubeflow. But before we look into Kubeflow, we shall again look at MLOps in proper. MLOps properly, all right? Because we've already talked about machine learning. Now we can now look into what machine learning operations is all about. Like I said earlier, machine learning operations is machine learning with emphasis on DevOps. With emphasis on DevOps. All right. So that is the whole picture. That is the whole picture. So in our next episode, in our next series, we shall start off with introduction to machine learning with DevOps. All right, and how and the models and MLS models and MLS architecture. All right. I hope you enjoy us. You enjoy us in this series, and I create an indulgence that you kindly share our work, like, subscribe to our channel, and you will get more and insight-filled content from us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't fail to follow us on YouTube and LinkedIn. Thank you, and see you in our next video series. Thank you.